Come on, let's try it again. Good morning, 11 a.m. All right. Listen, what a day to be in the house of God. Amen. Hey, a couple things before we really kick into today. One, next Sunday, if you have attended one of our New to the Bar lunches and you decided, hey, I want to officially become a part of this people, we'll be taking in new members next Sunday. But both services. But listen, you do not have to belong here, or you don't have to go here. Or what am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying here. You don't even have to be a member here to belong here. I'm like, what am I saying? I don't even understand the words coming out of my mouth. But you don't even have to be a member here to serve here. This is just, it's one of the things we do because some people cherish that membership more than others. But listen, next week is that day. So if you've attended one of those or you decided you wanted to become a member, my wife. I think she'll get you any paperwork that you need if you don't already have it. All right. Tonight at 5 p.m., we will be showing the Project 1916 movie, or 1916 Project movie. I want to encourage you to come out. That's at 5 o'clock. There will actually be a representative of 1916 with us here this evening. So come out to that. Invite people out to that tonight. Next Saturday is a holiday market. What are the times of that? Somebody remind me. 9 to 2. Thank you, Josh. 9 to 2. Listen, and from 11 to 1, you're going to have the opportunity to get free pictures with Santa Claus. Preferably your kids' pictures with Santa Claus. But hey, if you're an adult, want your picture taken, we'll accommodate that too. But we're going to have a lot of vendors here on site from 9 to 2. Come out if you want your kids' picture taken. 11 to 1. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Also, last thing, if you serve here in any capacity, December 8th is our annual MVV Christmas dinner. It is a time that we take to honor everybody that serves here. MVV is most valuable volunteers. That's what it stands for. And we're going to be having our dinner this year out at Uchi Marina. And we'll be feeding you. We got lots of door prizes. And as one of the favorites is our awards, our superlatives that we give out every year. And people they cherish these awards so much. They're so valuable. So make sure you see, if you're an usher, greeter, make sure you see the people that are over you in that area of ministry so they'll know if you're coming. All right. Y'all ready? Come on. Are you ready now? So, well, let me say this before we really dive in. I love this church. I do. I love the community that we've built here and that is being built here. I love the people in it. I love being, and I'm honored to be the pastor of this church. Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you. Here's why I say that, because we don't always get everything right. Are you following me? But there's times that we do stuff that we look back and we think, man, I wish I'd done things differently. But here's what I would rather be known for: someone that tries and fails, than someone that just sits around trying to come up with a perfect plan but never does anything at all. Are you feeling me? And that's why I love this community that we're a part of, because we fail in so many areas of our life that we're wrong, that I'm okay failing when I'm trying to do something for God. Because I know God's like, okay, good try. Let's try it again. So I love this place, though. All right, let's move on. Some of you are like, what was that about? I just want you to know I love you. And with that being said, I'll be stepping down next week. Hey, I know this is going to surprise some of you, but there's a lot of things that I don't know. I know, see. I don't know if I like Mike or not. Any given day, it could change. No, there's I don't know why you drive on a parkway but park on a driveway. I don't know. I don't know why someone who invests their money is called a broker. I don't know why. I don't know why there are Braille dots on a drive-through ATM machine. I don't know. I don't know why. So that's hit me a little funnier now. I don't know. I don't know why they sell hot dogs in a pack of 10, but hot dog buns in a pack of 8. I don't know. I don't know why is it that you can be overwhelmed, you can be underwhelmed, but you can't be in the middle, just be whelmed. I'm just kind of feeling whelmed right now. I don't know what the best thing was before sliced bread. What was it? And my last one, which I think is the funniest. I don't know why it is that someone who plays piano is called a pianist, but someone who races cars is not known as a racist. Come on, that was a funny one. That was good. And I cleared that joke with a couple people. I never asked Denise about my jokes because her threshold is about right here. So I go to Bob and Casey and Ben, all the places I probably shouldn't go for that. But there are a lot of things that I don't know, but here's one thing I am absolutely confident of, is that there are people in this room right now, young, old, men, women, moms, dads, sons, and daughters. You've had a rough week. Some of you not just had a rough week, you say, well, Pastor, if I'm being honest, I've had a rough few months. And others would be like, it's been a rough year. 2020 has been a rough, I know there are those people in this room right now. I know there are those here that have thought about just calling it quits, throwing in the towel. I know there are those in here that have thought more than once about, hey, I'm just walking away, from it. I know there are those that have thought, why even bother trying? I try and I try and I try. Why even bother trying? And I know there are those in here that have had your faith challenged, if not over the past week, then sometime this past year. You've had your faith challenged. And if any of those are you, man, I'm so pumped that you're here. I'm glad you're here because I believe today's message is just for you. And if you're here and none of those fit the bill for you, you need to bookmark this because there's going to be a day when you are in one of those areas. And so just remember that, bookmark it, come back and listen to it. With that being said, turn with me to Luke chapter 7 if you have a Bible. If not, we're going to bring it up here on the screens. This is a familiar story to a lot of you. Some of you, this may be the first time you've heard it. We do have a lot of new Christians. And here's the thing. I love it when it's their first time hearing a Bible story. Because they're like, no way that's in the Bible. I love those times because as Christians, I find sometimes we can get numb because we've heard the story over and over. But I love to see someone that, so just stay with me. We're going to look at a story that you're probably going to be familiar with. It is one of my favorites. But leading up to where we're going to jump in chapter 7, Jesus heals a centurion servant. Jesus raises a widow's son from the dead. John the Baptist is in prison for preaching the gospel. And even though he has announced that Jesus is the Son of God, he's in prison. He's having a hard time. So he sends two of his disciples, says, hey, go ask Jesus, are you the Messiah? Are you the Son of God, or do we need to look elsewhere? I mean, he's having a hard time, and Jesus says, hey, go back and tell John the Baptist, I am who I say I am. Well, in that same paragraph, if you read there in chapter 7, it says, when all the people heard what Jesus said about John the Baptist, said, the tax collectors too, they declared and acknowledged that God was just. Then it says this, but the Pharisees and the experts in religious law rejected God's purpose for themselves. And this is where we're going to jump into this story. Luke chapter 7, starting with verse 36. One of the Pharisees asked Jesus to have dinner with him. So Jesus went to his home and sat down to eat. When a certain immoral woman from that city heard he was eating there, she brought a beautiful alabaster jar filled with expensive perfume. Then she knelt behind him at his feet weeping. Her tears fell on his feet, and she wiped them off with her hair. Then she kept kissing his feet and putting perfume on them. I want you to have a clear picture of what is happening in these few sentences. Jesus gets invited to this dinner party by a known Pharisee. Simon's his name. And there are other Pharisees and religious leaders there at this party. And Jesus is sitting down there, and when all of a sudden a woman, the Bible calls her an immoral woman, some versions say a sinful woman, she comes through the front door, heads straight to Jesus. She then falls at Jesus' feet and is crying so hard, producing so many tears that she's able to wash Jesus' feet with those tears. Then she takes her hair and wipes those feet off and dries them, and then pours out this expensive bottle of perfume on his feet. Remember what Jesus said, that the Pharisees, an expert of the religious law, they had rejected God's purpose for their lives. So when this happens, she comes in, goes straight to Jesus and does all this. Look what they do. Verse 39. When the Pharisees who had invited him saw this, he said to himself, Simon, he said, if this man, talking about Jesus, were a prophet, he would know who is touching him and what kind of woman she is, that she is a sinner. Here's what I know. There are a lot of churches, a lot of Christians, let's say followers of Jesus, they say, I want Jesus. They say that they want his presence in their lives and in their churches. But when I look at the Jesus in the Bible, the people he hung out with, the kind of things he said and did, I'm not so sure that Jesus of the Bible would be welcomed in today's churches. Are you following me? I mean, think about it. Jesus begins his public ministry at 30. From the very beginning of his ministry, he begins doing and saying things that the Pharisees and these religious leaders, it bothered them, and they couldn't understand some of the stuff Jesus was saying or doing. And they wonder why. So things like he would heal people on the Sabbath. I mean, that sounds like a great thing. But according to the law, the Pharisees and religious leaders, they knew, hey, that's forbidden. You don't do that, because they valued tradition over someone's healing. Well, Jesus talked to, he hung out with, and even ate with known sinners. And in their mind, if this guy, if Jesus was the Messiah, if he were truly a rabbi, you didn't hang out, much less eat with these type of people. See, the Pharisees and these religious leaders, they knew the law front to back. I mean, they knew it. They knew the prophecies that had been given about the Messiah, that he would be born through the lineage of King David. He would be born of a virgin. He would be born in Bethlehem. They knew those things, and Jesus checked off those boxes. But man, he was saying and doing some things that just didn't line up with what they thought their Messiah should be saying or doing. And it confused them. And here's one of the biggest reasons it confused them, is because Jesus wasn't saving them the way they thought they needed to be saved. Jesus wasn't doing things that they thought their Messiah would do things. And here's what they wanted. They wanted, you remember the story when Jesus entered the city and they were crying, Hosanna? When you study that, what they were literally saying was, save us. Save us, save us. They wanted a political savior. Not a whole lot has changed, has it, in the church? I mean, a lot of Christians, their mindset is this: if we can just get the right person in the office, if we can get the wrong person out of office, things will finally turn around. Let me be very clear. My hope is not in any political party. My hope is in Jesus and Jesus alone. But a lot of Christians, that's where their hope. They want a political savior. That's what they thought. They wanted someone that would come and set things right in their world. They wanted someone that would come and stop the tyranny that the Roman Empire was inflicting upon their people. They had this perception of what their Messiah would look like, how he would save them, how he would say and do things. And here comes Jesus on the scene saying some things that they were like, what does that even mean? He would say things like, I've got a kingdom, yeah, but my kingdom is not of this world. And the Pharisees were like, what in the world is he talking about? It confused them. But do you know what bothered them more than them not being able to understand Jesus? You know what bothered them more? The fact that they weren't able to control Jesus. So why even invite him to a party then, if that's the way you feel? Where you've heard those saying, hey, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. That was kind of the way they thought. Let's at least bring him in, get some inside information on him. So Simon, the Pharisee that's hosting this dinner party that invited Jesus, Jesus takes Simon up on his offer. And again, while Jesus is sitting there, what the Bible calls an immoral woman, a sinful woman. Most scholars believe that immoral woman, sinful woman, is just a PC way of saying she was a prostitute. That's what most scholars think. She comes busting through the front door with no invitation to this dinner party. Let me ask a question. Anybody think she knew what she was? She knew who she was? I mean, right? Anybody have to tell you were a sinner? I mean, nobody come and say, you're a sinner, Kel. I'm like, I never thought about it. Let me think about that for a minute. You're right, I do a lot of bad things. I am a sinner. No, she knew exactly who she was. She knew that the Pharisees knew who she was. And here's why it's important to know, because I want you to think about this woman coming into this environment with these religious leaders uninvited. She knows what people think of her. She knows what people say about her. She knows what she's known for in that town. She knows the perception that people have of her. Yet without hesitation, not even a knock on the door, not even a can I come in, she walks in, interrupts this dinner party with all these Pharisees and these religious leaders sitting there knowing what they thought about her. Why? Because this woman had something that nobody else in that room had. And if I'm being honest, she had something that probably 80% of the church in general doesn't have anymore. A desperation. She's desperate for her life to be different. She is desperate for a change. She's desperate for her life to be something more than what it is. She's desperate for her life to have meaning and purpose. And she has heard about this man called Jesus that they say loves people right where they are. She's heard about how he isn't like the other religious leaders, that he loves them right there. And she's heard about what he can do for her. And she is willing to take the risk just to get in the face of Jesus. Church, what would happen if we became that desperate? I mean, what if we became desperate for God in our homes? What if we became desperate for God in our marriages, in our relationships, in our workplaces, in our schools? What if we became desperate for God in our Sunday services? I'm serious. Think about it. What if Sunday mornings at Watts Bar Community Church were filled with people that were just desperate for an encounter with Jesus? Let me ask you, church, would that change the culture of this place? Would that change the atmosphere of this place? Yeah. It absolutely. But let me ask you, if that happened, we came in here just desperate for an encounter with God, would Bob and the team have to get up here and almost be like cheerleaders trying to prompt you into worshiping Jesus? No. We'd come in because, oh God, I just got to get in your presence. I just got to get with you. I just got to meet with you. Can I tell you what's bar? We need that kind of desperation. We need desperate people. We need desperate worshipers. We need desperate men and women, sons and daughters that are so desperate for Jesus, they don't care what it looks like to other people. People that are so desperate, they're not worried about what time it is. People that are so desperate to see the face of Jesus, they're not worried what someone may think about them in their desperation. I mean, let me ask you, what if we stop treating church as just routine? What if we stop treating our gathering here on Sundays as something other than a social gathering or something to check off the box? Y'all remember when COVID hit and they shut down everything that was considered non-essential? Y'all remember that? I mean, Walmarts could stay open, liquor stores could stay open, and all these different places, but churches had to close down because they were considered non-essential. Do you remember that? Yes. Christians lost their dang minds. Come on. I mean, we began to complain. We began to shout. What do you mean we're not essential? What do you mean we're not essential? During all that, my brother Chris sent me this post that a church planner, Yi Wang, had posted. Here's what it said. Christians, before you criticize the government putting the church into non-essential business, ask yourself first, did you do the same as a Christian? Did you treat the church as non-essential in your life? Did you skip services? Did you come in 10 minutes late or maybe 30 minutes late? Did you treat the worship service nothing more than a music concert or entertainment? Did you listen to the sermons no different than a self-help podcast? Don't be silly. We as Christians have long treated church as non-essential. That's why the world sees through our hypocrisy. No need to win a debate. Win your souls. We treat church as non-essential. We're not desperate to see a move of God. There's a young man that has been coming to our church for a little while, and he's walking through a divorce right now. And since this has been going on, man, he has become so desperate for God in his life. And I was scrolling through some of the things last night. I just checked and see, hey, had we posted today's service yet? And I saw where Kelsey had posted, hey, don't miss tomorrow. Had my message title on it and everything. And under it, this young man, he wrote, I cannot wait. And this guy, man, he will, on another one, when we advertised the prayer night last night, hey, can anybody come to those things? Absolutely. He's showing up at our Monday night men's discipleship group. He's showing up at Wednesday night connections, Thursday night CR. He has called and said, hey, Kelly, Pastor, is there anything I can do at the church when I'm not working? So I got him with Casey. Casey now has his own ground crew, where him and Casey are the only ground crew members, but they've got their own crew. Why? Because he is in a place where he is desperate for God to do something in his life. And whatever he's got to do to be around community, he's going to do it. Guys, what would happen if we got desperate for this community to be a part of it? What if we got so desperate that, hey, man, I cannot wait till Sunday. Now, I'm not saying you don't worship through the week, but there's something different that happens when you gather with other believers. Something different. What would happen? Man, you got this, we need this woman's desperation. She interrupts this dinner party. In walks this sinful, immoral woman, head straight for Jesus. Here's what you need to understand. Simon, who invited Jesus, he knew protocol for a guest. You greet them with a kiss. You wash their feet, or at least have one of your servants wash their feet. Then you offer them a towel to dry them with. Simon knew Jewish protocol, yet he did none of those things. None of them. The one that this religious leader, Simon, had waited for his whole life, is sitting right across from him, and he doesn't even recognize it. Yet the sinful woman comes in and immediately recognizes who Jesus is, falls at his feet, and unashamedly begins to worship him and show honor and respect to this man. I think it's sad when a sinner recognizes Jesus before church people do. Are you hearing me? This woman, this sinner, recognizes and shows Jesus more honor and respect than the religious leaders in the room. What do you think was running through her mind? When I read this story, I'm wondering, what was she thinking? Before she actually walked through that door, what was going on in her mind? Because I know the enemy works, because how he works, because he's played this game with me. He loves the shame game. He loves to tell you why you shouldn't do something. Are you following me? I believe he began to whisper, and she's headed toward that door, and I believe the enemy is whispering in her ear, look at you. The men in that room, they know who you are. They know what you do for a living. And this man, Jesus, that you're so desperate to see, do you really think he's any different than anybody else? Do you think he's going to see you any different? Shame. Shame. And here's the truth. He's been shaming some of you. Some of you, every Sunday, he tries to shame someone into not showing up at church. Every Sunday, he tries shaming someone into not worshiping, not coming to the altar, not raising their hand. Shame us into telling us, you've fallen so many times. What makes you think this time will be any different? Why even bother? Some of you have heard those whispers before you came here today. Some of y'all are hearing them right now. Something like, look at you. You're still struggling with that sin. You blew it this past week, and now you want to raise your hands and worship? I've heard it. Look at you. Remember how you treated your wife, your husband? Remember how you talked to your kids this past week? Now you want to worship? Remember getting angry and going off on that person? And now those same lips you used to cuss that person out, you want to use that mouth to worship Jesus? Oh, look at you. Remember where you were last night? Remember what you did last night? Remember where you were browsing on the internet last night? And now you want to come in here and sing about Jesus. That's the shame game he plays. And if he knows it works on you, you better believe he's going to heap it up on you. Abundantly, shame upon shame upon shame. But I need you to hear something if you're taking notes. Don't allow shame to keep you from pursuing a relationship with Jesus. Don't do it. Don't allow shame to keep you. Don't allow the shame. Listen, hey, I don't care what you did before you walked through those doors. Whatever you do, come in here and say, Jesus, here I am. I blew it 30 minutes ago, but here I am. I need you. I mean, this woman had every reason not to walk through those doors. She had every reason just to stay at home. She knew these Pharisees and these religious leaders were there. She knew what they thought of her. So what was it that got her through the front door? Her desperation. It was stronger than the shame of her past. Her desperation for Jesus was stronger than her fear of what others might think of her. Her desperation for Jesus was stronger than any concern of appearing foolish. And her desperation for Jesus is what enabled her to push through the shame, to push through the doubt, to push through the questions, to push through all that, and to walk in a sinful woman with no purpose. Get this. But she walked out with a relationship with Jesus and a life of purpose. She came in weeping, found herself at the feet of Jesus, worshiping, and that forever changed her life. That's the power of one encounter with Jesus. Walk in a sinner, no purpose in life, and you worship Jesus, And when you walk out those doors, you've got purpose. You've got freedom. That's the power of relationship, guys. What do the Pharisees do, though? They start talking about it. They say things like, if Jesus knew who she was, if Jesus knew where she comes from, if he really were a prophet, if he really was the Son of God, he'd know who's touching her and who he's touching. And he wouldn't have anything to do with her. I love Jesus' response, though. Verse 41. Then Jesus told him, he told Simon this story. A man loaned money to two people, 500 pieces of silver to one, 50 pieces to the other. But neither of them could repay him. So he kindly forgave them both, canceling their debts. Jesus says, who do you suppose loved him more after that? Simon answered, well, I suppose the one for whom he canceled the larger debt. And Jesus said, you're right. What is Jesus doing here in this moment? He's trying to break down this Pharisee mindset. That they seem like they're better than anybody else. That they don't need to be forgiven of anything. But you need to understand this about the Pharisaic mindset and religion. Religion judges when relationship extends grace. Religion judges. Relationship extends grace. Let me say it a different way. Religion judges. Relationship with Jesus says, it's covered. It's covered. Simon and these other men, they think they know God. I mean, they've got the Torah memorized. They know all the scriptures. They know the top 10 Christian hits on the radio there in Jerusalem. They think they know God. They're doing what appears. But the truth is, they don't know God. Because if they truly knew God, they would be able to recognize that he's sitting in the same room with them. And they don't have a clue. But hey, before we really crucify Simon and really make go down, I mean, make just a bad thing about them, let's be honest. How would you respond if this happened at your house? Let's say you've got a special guest you've invited for dinner. You've invited them over to the house. They're sitting there at the head of the table. When in comes the known addict that you've seen her strung out of her mind down at the local store. Rumor is that she pays for her habit by selling her body. And here she comes barging through your door and heads straight to your guest of honor. How would you respond? Let's be honest, don't take the halos off. Oh, I would say, oh, look at her. Look at her pray. No, you would not. You'd do what I would be. I'm like, what in the world? So, call 911. Somebody get this woman out of her house. Come on, am I correct? Would you just sit there and watch this happen in your house with your guest of honor? Would you? What did the Pharisees do when she barged in? Nothing. No one got up and said, what? Get this woman out of here. They did not say a word. Think about it. What prostitute has the boldness to walk into a religious leader's house, know exactly where the dinner would be taking place, unless she's been there before? Now, I can't prove this, but I think it's odd that they said nothing and did nothing. Because here's my thinking. I think they were sitting there and in walks their dirty little secret. And they sat there silently hoping attention would not be brought to them. But isn't that how religion works? Religion wants to expose somebody else's brokenness while it's hiding its own. Come on. I've done it. You've done it. We want to point the finger to take the attention off of our brokenness. And we want to make sure everybody knows about everybody else's sin when we know we've got our own sin in their life. That's just the way religion works. Check this out. I love this. Verse 44. Then Jesus turned to the woman and said to Simon, let's stop there. Who's Jesus talking to? Simon. He's talking to Simon, but he's locked eyes with the woman. You know what this tells me? Jesus turns toward the broken, but corrects the religious. Jesus turns to the woman and begins talking to Simon. Check it out. Jesus says, look at this woman, Simon, kneeling here. When I entered your home, you didn't offer me water to wash the dust. Remember protocol? You didn't offer me water to wash the dust from my feet. She has washed them with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You didn't greet me with a kiss, but from the time I first came in, she has not stopped kissing my feet. You neglected the courtesy of olive oil to anoint my head, but she has anointed my feet with rare perfume. Simon, he knew everything that he should have been done. Simon knew he should have greeted Jesus with a kiss. He knew he should have had someone wash his feet. He knew he should have offered Jesus a towel. He knew he should have anointed him with oil. What we're seeing here is how Simon treated Jesus from the moment Jesus entered his house tells us exactly what Simon and the other Pharisees really thought about Jesus. There was no honor. No honor. And Jesus looks at Simon and says, you knew you should have done all these things, but the only one to honor me in this house today is this broken woman. And she's honoring me while y'all are sitting over there in the corner silently judging her. Church, we have been placed in this community, not so we can stand up here on this hill and tell everybody how good and how righteous and holy we are. We've not been placed on this hill so we can stand up here and say, look at us, we've got it all together. I mean, because, listen, those that call this home, you know, we were once addicts. We were once sinners. We were once jacked up. We were once lost, broken, hurting. And most of us, if we're honest, we're still dealing with some mess in our life. The reason Watts Bar Community Church has been placed here is because God needed a place where the broken, the hurting, the confused, the lonely, the addict, those with a jaded past could come in and not feel judged. But they could encounter someone that was once right where they were, but Jesus came into their life. I sung that song last week about proof. If you've never seen a dead man come to life, you have now. If you've never seen addiction conquered by a grave, you have now. We are living proof that Jesus still works today. We're living proof of that, guys. That's why we've been put here. We're not here for the spiritually elite. We're here for the spiritually broken. Those who know they need a Savior. Those that need to hear, hey, there is hope. It's found in Jesus. This woman's life wasn't changed because Jesus looked at her and began to judge her. Are you following me? This woman's life was changed because Jesus met her right where she was and refused to leave her right where she was. See, here's the truth. I don't come to church because I've got it all together, Donna. I come to church basically because I don't have it all together. And I'm trying desperately to get it all together. Every Monday, God, help me get it right this week. In areas that I failed this week, help me get it right this week. In areas I've blown it this week, help me get it right this week. I'm here because I need you. I need this community. And I need brothers that I meet with on Monday nights that will call and text me, how's your day going? We need that. Guys, I pray that we never forget where Jesus found us. I think there are times we need a reminder that, like Paul, remember when Paul was preaching and he names off all these different sins and then he looks at the people and says, hey, remember some of you, that was your story. Remember that? In other words, don't get so high and pious about where you are that you forget this was you until Jesus. This woman walks, let's finish this up. This woman walks into this room, does not say one word. Doesn't ask for permission. All she does is walk in, finds Jesus, and begins to worship him. Look what happened. Verse 47. Jesus looks at Simon, I tell you, her sins, and they are many, they have been forgiven. She has shown me much love, but a person who is forgiven little shows only little love. Then look at this. Then Jesus said to the woman, your sins are forgiven. Did I miss a sinner's prayer in there somewhere? Did I miss something where Jesus said, hey, Peter, come here, lead this young lady through a sinner's prayer? She simply worshiped at the feet of Jesus and acknowledged who he was. And Jesus looked at her and says, your sins are forgiven. No words needed. No words. Her worship said what her words could never say. Are you hearing me, church? That is the power of relationship. That is the power of an encounter with Jesus. While religion will say, do this, don't do that, say this, don't say that, Jesus says, hey, just come to me with a sincere heart. Just all that junk, pour it out on my feet. I don't care. Just pour it out on my feet. And I will heal you. I will redeem you. I will save you. I will set you free. I'll take your if only regrets and I'll give you my what if possibilities. Just come to me. Church, do you know why me as a pastor, I'm so big on worship? And trying to get you to come out to things like our second Sundays or our nights of worship that we have. Or Sunday mornings, I keep pressing, worship. Because this woman's worship did what words could never do for her. Her worship, it put her in a position to where her life could be changed. If I could get Bubba, Jill, come on up. Some of you here today, or maybe even watching online, you feel broken. You said, I don't know how much more I can take. I don't know how long I can hold on. Some of you feel weary, worn out. Some of you ready to call it quits. Some of you feel like this, Kelly, you know what? It seems like I've prayed and prayed and prayed about this and I'm still dealing with it. I get it. I get it. I need you, if that's you, I need you to hear me. Worship. Whatever's going on in your life, worship. When you don't feel like it, worship. Are you hearing me? When you don't have the words to say, worship. When you feel overcome by worry, anxiety, worship. When you feel the cloud of depression just beginning to weigh down on you, worship. When you feel like you've blown it one too many times, worship. When you feel like you've failed, worship. When you feel like there's no hope in sight, worship. Parents, when you're watching your kids go down a road and you don't know what to, you've said everything you know to say or do, worship. Person that is desperately trying to beat this addiction and you seem to be good for a while, but then you have a day where you slip up and you beat yourself, worship. Worship. The marriage that's all but falling apart and you don't know what to say, you don't know how to pray anymore, just worship. Worship. This woman's act of worship did for her what no words could have done for her. She was so broken she couldn't even say a word. All she could do was cry. She she couldn't even bring words out. She was so broke. All she could do is sit at the feet of Jesus and cry. She couldn't quote a scripture. She couldn't sing. All she could do was cry. Have you ever been there where all you could do is cry? Where all you could do is just, you couldn't pray if you wanted to. Are you hearing me? I've been there. My wife's been there. I know there are people in this place that have been there. I know there are people in here right now that you are there right now. It took everything you got to drag yourself up and get yourself here today. Worship. Worship. I want to end with a promise that's found in Deuteronomy 4:29. Look what God says. But if from there you seek the Lord your God, you will find him if you seek him with all your heart and all your soul. If from where you seek him, where's there? If from your brokenness, you will seek him. If from your fear, you will seek him. If in the middle of your depression, you will seek him. And in the middle of your doubts, you will seek him. If in the middle of your marriage falling apart, you will just seek him. If in the middle of you craving a pill, just another hit, you will seek him. Are you following me? If from there, if you will seek him, from there, you will find him. There are those here, you're broken. You said those words, I don't know if I can, how much more I can take. It seems like all I do, if I'm not crying, I'm all in my head and I've got all these thoughts going through my head and I just don't know how much more I can take. Some in here, you're just tired and you're worn out. Worship. I purposely want to give us some time to do just that. Worship. To worship. To pour it all out at his feet. See, I don't know where we got the idea that we couldn't be brutally honest with God. I don't know where we got that idea. Where we couldn't come to God and tell him exactly how we're feeling. Like, God, you know what? Right now, I don't like what's going on with me. I don't understand what's going on with me. God, right now, I'm broken. I'm hurt. Like we're telling God something he doesn't know. I think what God honors is an honest heart that doesn't try to throw in a bunch of these and thous and dress up her prayers. Sometimes, you know, one of my favorite, I was listening to a message this week, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody. Guy, one of my, Perry Noble, man, I love this guy. And he was talking about a time when they would have the lapel mics here. Remember? And he said a guy, man, that was so broken, wanted to get saved. He came up, he said, and Mike was still on. And he said, the guy just put his head in my chest. He said, Pastor, my life's not worth a damn. But if God can heal it, I want him to. That's the kind of honesty God's looking for. That right there. And you can get offended, or you can say, I need to be more honest with God. I need to be more honest with God. Stand with me across this room. Real quick, heads bowed, eyes closed. I feel like I need to do this. I believe there's some in here, you don't have that relationship. When I said that's the power of relationship, you don't have a relationship with God, with Jesus. You know about religion, and you don't really care for religion. But this relationship with Jesus, and you'd say, you know what? I want to surrender my life to Jesus today. I'm tired of feeling the way I do. Tired of feeling like my life has no purpose. Today, I just want to surrender my life to Jesus. If that's you, I want you to raise your hand, because I want to pray with you. I want to embarrass you. Yeah. Absolutely. Will you keep that hand up for me there? Absolutely. 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 Anybody else? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, Jim, will you pray with my brother right there? Anybody else? They're going to lead you in a prayer. You can go ahead and lift your heads, because what we're going to do next, we're just going to worship. I've asked Jill to sing a song. And here's whatever you're going through, whatever you're facing, you need to find yourself in a posture of worship. What does that look like? For some, it's finding themselves up here at an altar. For others, it's just raising your hand right where you are. For others, it may be kneeling down at the chair you're at. But whatever you do, don't just stand there thinking, how much longer is this going to last? And you say, Kelly, I want to be desperate for God, but I'm not. Tell God that. God, I want to be desperate. I want that kind of desperation. Create in me a clean heart. Renew a right spirit in me. God, I want those things. Then be honest. Wherever you're at, whatever you're going through, worship. As Jill and Bubba lead us in this, whatever posture you need to take that posture and say, Jesus, here I am. I don't care what anybody thinks. I love the fact that my brother, there was no altar call needed. My brother just came up here and just began to pray. Why? That's what desperation does. God, I need something in my life. That's where we've got to get. Come on, Jim.
Captured by your gaze.
That's right, it's open, it's open.
The world just fades away.
The troubles.
In the troubles I was through.
Just lay it at his feet. Just lay it out. Just begin to worship. Let's find ourselves in a place of worship.
When your beauty I behold.
Come on. In my heart, one thing I know. Earthly things are held in awe. Just to know you even more.
Just to know you even more.
Can you sing this right here?
So let me pour
my love on you, like fragrance from my heart, and feel your love surround me as you wrap me in your arms. You take me to your chambers where
your beauty's
all I see,
the place where nothing matters but to give you all of me.
Church, I just feel like he wants to do more than what he's already done. I feel like he's just waiting for some of us to let our guard down, to quit worrying about what someone may feel or think about us, to quit worrying about if we're doing it right or not doing it right. Just a heart that says, God, I want you. So I'm going to ask you to sing one more time. And I honestly do not feel like he is done here in this room, but he's waiting on a response from his children, just like he was waiting on the woman to come through that door. Regardless of who was there, he's waiting for us to respond. So when she begins to say, I encourage you, respond. Respond. Kelly, I don't know how. That's it. Just tell him, God, I love you. Do I raise my hand? Listen, it's a posture of your heart. It's a posture of your heart.